Thank you for tuning in to Koppen with Critic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're with critic Lindsay Patton. Lindsay Patton, how the hell are you?
I'm great, Brian. Thanks for asking. How the hell are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we could say the words like hell. You can say any words you like, and I think you probably have some of those words in your Substack, not a fit for our publication, which I thought was just a hilarious title. What can people find on Not a Fit for Our Publication?
Thank you. It's basically what the title is. I am a writer, and us writers have to pitch a lot, and that's what we get a lot from editors. This is not a fit for our publication.
Yeah.
So I'm taking all the writing that's not a fit for these publications and putting it in one place, not a fit for our publication.
Yes, and it's a perfect fit for your Not a Fit for Publication Substack.
Yes, and so I do a lot of my music and culture writing there. I also have some personal essays. It's a whole jumble of stuff I'm interested in.
Oh, good. And then you also have an Instagram where sometimes you'll post about I think you're a DJ too. So that is Pat and Lindsay, just your name kind of inverted. Tell me, and it says David Bowie Trivia Champion, who we'll be talking about a little bit today. What can you tell me about what you're posting on Instagram?
Yeah, so I have gotten more into DJing. I'm definitely amateur, but I really love, as all music lovers do, putting together playlists and creating kind of soundscapes that can lift people up and create a really great time where we can all come together and enjoy music. And so I have been doing that at a local brewery. I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so I've been doing that for the past 10 months. So it's very new. And that's where I post, when you can see me in Grand Rapids and some videos of the night and then some of the playlists that I also curate for the night.
Yeah, some of these pictures show it looks like it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these, yeah. It looks like you're DJing. It looks like everybody's having a lot of fun. So that's great. What we're doing is Hall of Fame Face Off, where we each pick I don't know, 5 to 7 songs from 5 to 7 Rock Hall of Fame artists. And so I'm going to go first, and that will allow you to kind of pick what you're going to choose to face off against it based on on what you know how strong you think my song is. So if I serve up something weak, feel free to put something weak. And if I put something strong and no one can no one can beat it like the Beatles, maybe you'll serve up something weak. But I will serve up. Let's see. This is kind of fun song. So let's do Tom Waits. What's he building? Did you have an opportunity to listen to it?
I did. I have some questions for you.
Oh, good. Yeah. And first, what are you gonna face off against with Tom Waits?
Oh, I would like to. This is very, very different from our friend Tom. I would like to go with Whitney Houston. How will I know?
Oh, Whitney's amazing. And so yeah, first tell me about what you thought about Tom Waits. What's he building?
Yes, I'm a Tom Waits appreciator, but I've never really had that entryway point with him. So I was excited when you brought him up because I was like, oh, this will give me a chance to really spend some time. And that's when I realized like this is an artist that you need to spend time with. So my question to you is how do you listen to this song? Because this isn't not necessarily a song that you can be listening to while you're bopping to the beach on for a sunny day. So I want to know how do you listen to this song in a way that really helps you absorb it?
Oh, that's good. I think I probably listen to music in just kind of the introvert's way, which is I listen to Spotify all day long. I listen to thousands of songs by hundreds of artists. I think that the best song of a crappy artist can still be better than a crappy song by a great artist. And so I'm not somebody who's like, I'm gonna buy the new Pearl Jam because it's gonna have, I'm just gonna love every song on there. It's like, no, I mean, I might add one to my playlist, but they're just not an unimpeachably perfect band. There's no one who's like that. And so I'm just kind of like listening to these things all day long, and it's not really a bopping thing. And I think I came to this because I worked at a kind of an independent music store, a record store,
Mhm.
and we played a lot of interesting CDs. Or actually, I might have got into this via Pitchfork. Sometimes I'll check out, what they're recommending. And this album, this Mule Variations album, along with the other Tom Waits song that I might talk about, um, it's just it has some of the most beautiful music, it has some of the most harsh music, and this "What's He Building" in there is just a funny song. And he did a live version of it that you can find out there, and he's just kind of saying we were a bunch of rambunctious kids, and we had this kind of weird, quiet neighbor, and so we only knew a couple things about him, and so we filled in the rest with kind of just lies and whatever. And so they're kind of building this next door neighbor up into this, awful person when he might have just been misunderstood. So that's that. And then let's talk about Whitney Houston real quick because I unfortunately was gonna name her cliched song in an episode yesterday. And what I really would, prefer was these early songs, what I call a sweatshirt Whitney Houston, back when she was still rocking a
I
sweatshirt and
like
tights or
it.
whatever. And this is one of them, How Will I Know? And the other one is I Want to Dance with Somebody, stuff like that. So yeah, tell me about Whitney. What's your interest in Whitney and in this song?
Yeah, I really, really came to appreciate her within the past year, I would say. I mean, I was born in 84, and so Whitney was just in my life always. And so she reminds me these older songs like How Will I Know? It reminds me of being a kid. It also is a song that it feels eternally fresh and youthful. So I listen to this and I will always feel young. And as I'm revisiting this song and Whitney herself, it saddens me that her personal life has become, a punchline essentially, because you look at her career and it's astounding. I mean, in my middle school, we played the Star Spangled Banner, her version, every morning. So I did the math before I came on the
Oh wow.
show. I heard it 750 times.
So
And
was it your idea to start that and you regretted it after the 750th time?
no, no, no. That like it was the whole middle school had to listen to it.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
it was like our version of the Star Spangled Banner
Well,
in the
that's
morning.
nice. That's good for the culture.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I broke that down and did that math of like, I heard Whitney's voice singing this song 750 times, almost every day. It made me realize how impactful as an artist that she is. And that's just one example. I mean, she's the first Black woman to win both a Grammy as an artist and a producer. And I
Wow.
Will Always Love You is still the best-selling single by a female artist.
Yeah.
And that was 35 years ago, maybe, but I'm not good at math, but
Yeah, yeah, that's a great song where it's like it's a great song, but I don't enjoy them as much as Sweatshirt Whitney. And so
yeah.
and if you like the national anthem, you should check out Maya Rudolph and SNL. She did just look up national anthem Maya Rudolph SNL because she kind of took the flourishes that some of those great singers, used during the national anthem and she just made it
Yeah.
hilarious. And of course, Maya Rudolph, I think, is the daughter of somebody super famous in music, so it's relevant. I just forget what the hell her name is. Okay, now it's your turn to pick, and then I will pick who's facing off.
Oh, now it's my turn to pick. Oh boy.
And of course, feel free. We can always go back to Whitney, etc. Yeah.
Yes. I would like to go to another trailblazer, Grandmaster Flash. And I'm going to choose It's Nasty because it samples one of my other favorite songs, Genius of Love by Tom
Yeah.
Tom Club.
Yeah, I looked that up. I was like, this sounds familiar. I had to look up what it was. And then I heard it and I was like, okay. And the song before it was something called like Wordy Rap a Lot or something. And I was like, are these people
Pretty
rappers?
Rapping Hood. Yep.
Yeah, we rapping hood or something. I'm just like, are these people rappers? And so I listened to the first song and there was some rap in there. And then I listened to The Genius of Love a little bit later. In the song, there's a little bit of rapping there. So what, yeah, tell me about the Tom Tom Club and how they were involved with rap. And I imagine back in the day, Grandmaster Flash did not pay, uh, or initially pay Tom Tom Love for the sample. I think they kind of ever just kind of bit back in the day. But I think the songwriting credits list a lot of people who might be in the Tom Tom Club now.
Yeah. So Tom Tom Club is an offshoot of Talking Heads and is just such a fun band. Very weird, quirky, experimental with sounds. And I, as a millennial growing up in the 90s, I was introduced to them through Mariah Carey's Fantasy, of
Oh,
course. And when I heard Genius of Love, it was so different from Fantasy in the best way. And so I became a big fan of that song very early. And, of course, I hear It's Nasty and that sample, and it's just, I love that as well. And so I don't know if I answered your
so
question, but
fantasy also samples Genius of Love?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So,
so that must be where I heard it. Okay, I must have heard
yes.
Mariah Carey
So
version.
it's one of those songs, Genius of Love is, and which is samples. The name is escaping me now, but it is sample. Genius of Love actually is a sample of an older song.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just this ongoing, song. It's the song that keeps on giving.
Well, good. Yeah, I mean, somebody's making money off of it, hopefully. I don't know if they
Yeah.
made it at the time, but they probably make it now. I'm gonna face off against it. White Stripes, Jolene, which I think is a Dolly Parton cover. Were you able to listen to the official music video on YouTube or the version on Blackpool Lights under Blackpool Lights album?
Listen, Brian, this is where I throw up the white flag because I'm a Metro Detroit girly. So
Oh, yeah. This is right up your alley. I love it.
you say white stripes, I'm like, okay, you win, we're done.
Oh, so you really do like White Stripes?
I love White Stripes. I love Jack White. I love what he has done for the city. He has invested so much time and energy and money into Detroit,
Oh, good.
and
I didn't know that.
yeah, he's just been a wonderful person for Michigan in general. Like you cannot meet someone who lives in Michigan who does not like Jack White because he is so proud to be from the state and from Detroit.
And is it the
Uh,
same with Eminem or no?
yes, oh
Like as
yeah,
far as
we
investing back in Detroit or no?
absolutely.
Oh, good.
When it comes to the kings of the city, it was Eminem first, but Jack White is creeping up. And I think M is pretty welcoming since they were at the Lions halftime show together this past
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
I gotta fire that up again. And then we had, so what do
Yeah.
you think about Jolene as a cover?
I love it. There have been so many artists, whether it's Miley Cyrus or Beyonce, who have taken this song and created their own versions of it. And I think what I love about it too is Dolly as an artist is someone who's like, okay, my work is out there. Now you can take it and make it your own. And so I love the White Stripes cover because the White Stripes sound, it's so unique in that it's simple, but you need to be so technical and so precise because there's no room for error because it's of that simplicity.
Yeah, and
So
just his vocal delivery here is just, him at his finest, just taking a song and how could he be more emotional than I just don't know how he could kind of summon that emotion, like, or at least channel it through his voice, but he did it. And I'm going to set you up because I know you have a couple you want to talk about, so I'm gonna set you up with a toughie. I'm gonna
ooh,
set you up with Beatles, She Loves You. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I
I
think
don't
is the perfect pop song, but I probably have listened to it too often to have fresh ears. What do you think about Beatles, and what are you gonna face? What are you gonna face up
see
against it?
you keep doing this.
This one's tough. First time I hauled it out, the last time I haul it out, it's just kind of
I know
tough to
because
go
I
against.
I just commandeered your pick like literally 30 seconds ago because of my love for Jack White.
This
And
one's tough, yeah.
and now I'm about to commandeer this one because I love Paul McCartney.
Oh,
I know he released a new single I have to listen to, but um yeah, this it's hard to go up against the Beatles because when I think of your list, I think of it as very foundational. There's a lot of like foundational artists to genres, to music itself. And then when I look at my list, I think of flair. The artists that kind of like give music the little bit of fun.
oh yeah, yeah. It's nasty. It
Yeah.
was. I should have said at the time that I wish music kind of somehow stayed as fun as It's Nasty. The vibe it's giving off is just fun. You want to be there.
I like that sentence. Yeah. So, um, yeah, so it's hard to battle with when you because you just have so many good legitimate choices.
Yeah, and I'm trying
Um,
only to pick them once across episodes. But real quick, like as you talk about Beatles, kind of convinced me some of your Paul McCartney great songs because in a past episode or another episode anyway, I
mhm.
have slandered Paul McCartney just on the basis that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame 3 times. And the other critic, gave some songs that he likes, and so I would love for you to give me a few of your faves. Um,
Yeah, that
and
might
then
be
and then face it off
tricky.
against one of those 2 songs that I know you want to talk about.
Okay, all right. Is three getting greedy? Possibly.
Yeah.
You know what? I love Paul because that man has never met a sound he doesn't like. He loves sounds and he will put them anywhere and everywhere. And um, a great example of that is a song that is very it's Temporary Secretary. I love that song.
Oh,
It's
I
so
do like
cute.
that song. Oh, I
And I
love that song. I
know
gotta put that back on my list. That's wonderful.
and I know it's split. It's people are split on that song.
No,
And
that's one of the
I
few that I actually like, but I have not been exposed to his catalog.
okay, so that's kind of why I appreciate Paul because the man's willing to take risks.
Oh, good.
And I appreciate artists who take risks and who's coming up next is an artist that was always taking risks.
Oh, good.
And so that's David Bowie. But please tell me before we get into that, I want to know why you think it's the perfect pop song.
I don't know, it's short, it's catchy. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the verses are, they make sense with the choruses. I just think that a lot of songs that I find myself discussing, just even by great artists, they kind of overstay their welcome. And so I think ultimately I'm going to do something where people pick, I don't know, 3 to 6 songs of non-Hall of Fame artists, and they have to convince me it's a Hall of Fame song. And in my guidance to critics, I would say something like, long songs are risky because it's tough to play air free ball when your song is so long. And I think, even the other David Bowie song you mentioned, it just I don't think it was long and repetitive, but the David Bowie song I think you want to talk about, you said Cat People, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That actually remains interesting the entire time, and I would love to know why it's called Cat People, because in the parenthetical it says what playing with fire or something, or putting out
Mhm.
fire, and I think
Yeah.
that the catchy, the lyrical hook is putting out fire with gasoline, and I think that's wonderful, and I love Bowie so much. This is the first time I've heard Cat People though, so thank you. I think it's a very good song.
Oh, that makes me so happy because it's one of my favorite Bowie songs. And it's called Cat People because it's off the soundtrack of the film Cat People.
Oh,
Um,
there you go.
yeah,
I
yeah.
must have
So
like seen it on a compilation instead of the album itself. So I was like, if David Bowie has anything interesting to say about like if somebody can, if I want to hear somebody's take on Cat People, it's David Bowie's.
right. And I think you summed up the song so well. It just keeps you interested the entire time. It starts out one way and builds, and then you have that just infectious chorus, and um, it's just so fun to sing to. I love it.
You're around the house singing, putting out fire with gasoline.
Yeah,
People are
the
like, oh my
neighbors
gosh.
there. It's fine, everyone. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah, they're like, that's not how you put out a fire. Let's not have Lindsay Patton be our firefighter.
Yes.
What's your song, and then I'll pick what I'm going to face off against it.
Okay, I would love to go with Blondie Rapture.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about this one because I listened to it. Is this the one that has a little bit of rapping in it too?
Yeah, so I just think Debbie Harry is that girl. And I think she's savvy in bringing things that were not necessarily mainstream like hip hop with Rapture, bringing it in to mainstream. So while she's rapping, and it might be someone's first exposure to some a person rapping because it's on pop radio, she's still referencing Fab Five Freddy.
Okay.
So she is one of those artists that is going to give credit where she found the art. And she has been DIY her entire career. I read her memoir about a year and a half ago, and it made me love her even more.
Yeah, that must have been
And
pretty interesting. Okay,
yeah,
I'd like to read that memoir.
it made me really love her because she's always lived a progressive life. And so that kind of like really inspired me to kind of, I don't know, I guess see how I'm living my life and how I'm incorporating my neighbors. Like she was very, very into the art scene and very collaborative. And so it made change my perspective on how I'm collaborating within, my space, within my city.
And that's why you started the DJ night.
Yeah, it
Is it?
all comes back to Debbie
No, it
Harry.
is it? Is that something that kind of inspired you to start something like that?
I did a speech on her in college. So like I've
Oh my
just
gosh.
always loved her as a woman who is a trailblazer. I feel like we wouldn't have Shirley Manson, we wouldn't have Gwen Stefani without Debbie Harry.
Wow. You said Shirley Manson.
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's garbage.
Yes.
Why is garbage not in the Hall of Fame?
Don't
I
start with
know.
I
I mean,
love
you would think
garbage.
with some of that pedigree just because of the drummer producer guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Do we know?
That is
That's
not it's
the guy
flying
who,
off.
yeah, guy who produced Nevermind, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So let me put somebody against that who's a trailblazer in a totally different way. Let's do Guns N' Roses. It's so easy because I can't wait to hear your opinion on it.
I see you just my
That,
opinion's so good because I love that you can kind of hear the birth of grunge in this. And that is really, really cool because I looked up the when it was released and it was 87. So right when that sound was being birthed. And so, you know, it's a great song if you're just listening, but listening to it with that critical lens of like when it came out and what sounds are being incorporated, I just really had some more appreciation for this song.
yeah. And I think he was, I think AXA was even kind of supportive of artists coming up. And so I think he probably was pretty disappointed when Kurt Cobain knocked him off
Yeah.
the charts, but also Kurt, he's such a, I don't know. He was such a egotistical whatever. He just kind of wouldn't receive that praise with Guns N' Roses because of course Guns N' Roses is big and bloated and the opposite of grunge when it comes to tours and performing on stage, etc. Um, but it has some dicey lyrics, but I think it's just a rockin' tune. Let me do one more just because I think you have one more you want to talk about at least. Let's do OJ's Backstabbers.
Yes.
What do you
Oh,
think? I mean, I just love the song. Like I think I probably found it in my dad's catalog. And I was like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. I have nothing else to say about it. It's just like when you have just a song that you think is the best and it's your favorite and things like, and you go to it all the time. I don't even think I could talk about it with a critical lens. Yeah. So I'm interested to hear your take on it, if any.
that's so sweet. How old were you when you first heard it?
Oh, just, must have been, first 20 years of my life or whatever. So I don't really know when I stumbled upon it, but just,
Yeah.
he had, he's a big Elton John guy, but he also, had Sam Cooke and he had OJ's. And so whenever I turn these things on, I'm like, I can't believe I like one of my dad's songs. But of course, me and him, I should have him on this podcast at some point just because this guy, if he could work he was a DJ at some point later in life when computers took over and that wasn't really a good fit for him. But if somebody would have done all that for him, this guy could just do a whole radio show by himself about,
Oh,
everything before 1975, I think. So yeah, what do you think about Backstabbers?
awesome. I
And what are
love
you
it.
gonna what are you gonna face off against it? Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Careless Whispers, what I'm
There
gonna
you go.
face up against it. I love, but another one, and I love the I love the Midwest influence that you have in your list. Like there's just so much good music that has come out of the Midwest, whether, that's Ohio, Cleveland, Canton, or Detroit. It makes me proud to be here. And
Oh, good.
so
I think
that,
Axel was from Indiana, and then George Michael is probably the opposite of that because what he's Britain.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
by way of Greece.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so when you sent me your list, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I resonate with this. I have some sort of pride attached to the artists that you chose, which is so fun,
Oh,
and
good.
a
Yeah, I
nice
was raised in
surprise.
the Midwest, so that's a good ear for it.
Oh yeah. So seeing OJ's, it was just like, man, the Midwest, it's does it again.
Good. It's rapping, and I can't believe the Detroit thing. If I would have known that, I would just picked all Detroit artists, and all my songs would have won.
Yeah, I watched one of their Soul Train performances from 1972, so that was really fun
Oh, I
to
gotta
watch
check that
that.
out.
Yeah.
It must be super funky.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed spending a little time with that song.
Oh, good. So yeah, what about George Michael's Careless Whisper? I think when I looked up who played the sax on the first thing that came up was Baker Street, the suggested results. And I think the second was Careless Whisper, and so the sax is pretty famous, I think.
Yes, so I didn't really appreciate this song until I watched the Wham documentary, which is one of my favorite documentaries ever.
Is
I
it is
love
it good? Where are you streaming it?
Netflix is where you can stream it.
Really? So it's interesting, huh?
It is
Wow.
it's ooey gooey in the sense that it's a documentary about best friends,
Oh,
and you see how George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley created Wham as kind of like a joke, like something to do after school, and then
okay.
realize, oh wow, there's talent. And Andrew recognized George's talent way before George did, and which was
Oh.
so yeah, and
And what
so
happened to him later? Like, did he die young or did Andrew kind of go on? Did they stay friends? Did Andrew go on and have a wonderful career? Did he die or something?
no, Andrew's still around and
Oh,
just
good.
yeah. So George Michael died in 2016, and he's another one where I feel like his personal life overshadows his contributions. I feel like we never gave him the recognition and flowers that he deserved as a gay man, and so I have just really come to appreciate. I've always appreciated him and always been a fan since I was a kid. I just thought that Wham was such a fun project, and then his voice itself is so he's so talented. But I really, when I saw Careless Whisper being made, I realized like this is an 18-year-old kid that's making this just timeless
He
song.
he was
Ah,
18 when he did Careless Whisper.
yes, I need
Oh my
everyone in the
Lord.
world to know this fact.
That is crazy to me.
Right. So it just gave it this extra weight. And so it was, you see how he came to put that saxophone part in it and really elevate it to the song it is and what we think of it today. And so when, they both kind of recognize like, oh, we're playing around and now it's time to get serious. Andrew made the decision to say, "Hey, you're the talent. Spread your wings and fly. You've got more to show the world."
Wow.
And obviously, I'm boiling it down a much more simple way. It was a very like hard decision, but their friendship is what remained, and that's why I love Wham. I love George Michael. I love Andrew Ridgeley so much, is because the friendship always came first, and Andrew always had this attitude of, oh my gosh, I've accomplished more than I ever could have dreamed of. I'm so content with this.
Oh, wow.
We did it. Oh my gosh, my best friend gets to be everything he's ever wanted, and I get to witness it. I'm
Yeah.
so fortunate. And
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I
yeah.
kind of have I have a friend like that where we've done musical projects for decades, and we even kind of lived in Chicago and New York City and Kansas and all these things, and we write guitar music and barbershop and musicals, and he's the talent of it though. But I'm
Oh,
kind of the word guy to his music guy, and so we fit together really well. We prioritize the friendship, and so I'm totally interested in that. And I love George Michael. Freedom '90s amazing. I thought
yes.
the Monkey song was hilarious, and so I'm glad that the young George Michael finally had some hilarious solo song like Monkey.
Oh my
There used to be a
God.
guy that you would always come into the independent record store, and for some reason, this guy, he's a singer, but he only loved George Michael. So I kind of have listened to George Michael with a newfound respect after that. And of course, that was decades ago. So I have nothing but respect for him. We're kind of out of time. Do you want to say a few sentences about your final two songs?
Oh, okay, so David Bowie, I'm the biggest David Bowie fan. I could just spend a whole hour talking about David Bowie and his impact on music. And so
You
my
should
last
at least.
two,
Do you have an article on your Substack about it? And again, let's mention the Substack because we're wrapping up. I love this because nobody wants to say they don't like your writing. They just say you're not a fit for our publication, and that's
exactly.
a memorable Substack. So yeah, look that up with Substack. And again, the Instagram is Pat and Lindsay, and so that's where she'll kind of announce some of the DJ nights. But yeah, I love David Bowie. My favorite song is probably Young Americans, but there's tons like him singing
So
about Jean
good.
Genie. It's just weird. Yeah, so fashion, to me, it was look left, look right, Goon Squad, beep beep. It was not my favorite Bowie song. But yeah, what do you like about fashion? And then what's your other last song?
Yeah, I mean, I like exactly what you said. It's Bowie's not afraid to be goofy. And there are some Bowie projects that I hate, and I love that because if he didn't have those projects
Yeah,
that people hated, he we wouldn't get the
yeah,
point, the classic that we have. And
yeah,
so I have a lot of peace with the fact that I don't have to like every Bowie stuff because fashion was one of those weird things that worked. And um it's just such a fun pop song.
yeah.
I
I'll
really
give you
love
something like fashion because yeah, like you said, if he didn't do fashion and kind of maybe divide his audience on that song, I wouldn't have a lyric in Young Americans like blushing at all the Afro Sheeners, which I thought was
that.
just
Right.
amazing.
You got to get weird sometimes. And Bowie was, I think he normalized getting weird in a way.
Yeah, I just love like everybody else, you know, everybody else in pop music at the time was probably like, should I get a little bit weirder?
The
Maybe
answer's always yes.
that's new, but they just don't have the originality and creativity of Bowie. So yeah, tell me about the Grandmaster Flash song, The Message.
The Message, I think this was one of the first songs I've ever heard by Grandmaster Flash. And it's one of those songs that you just want to put on repeat because it not only sounds good, but there are a lot of messages in there. And it really kind of paints the picture of the time that Grandmaster Flash was living in. And I appreciate him as an artist because he invented the quick mix theory, which made cutting and scratching possible. And he also invented the slip mat, which allows the record to move on the platter. So he is just so important to music in general that he needs two songs here from me.
Yeah, yeah, and it probably those adventures probably have something to add to your time as a DJ, right? Now as a DJ, you have a
Yes.
new appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something like listening to this stuff also makes me want to listen to White Lines.
Oh,
White
I
Lines parenthetically don't do it.
that's one of my favorite songs ever. I almost put it, but I technically it's not by Grandmaster Flash is what I learned.
Oh,
But yeah, so I didn't put it in, but White Lines is one of my top five favorite songs.
well,
The bass line.
you
Oh,
respected the rules of the Hall of Fame face-off. I appreciate that.
oh, thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
we follow her everywhere. Pat and Lindsay on Instagram, not a fit for our publication, Substack. Lindsay Patton, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.